Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, of course I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. We're talking about the movies, obviously. Well, whatever, if it's related to Disney in one shape or another, in one way or another, of course I'm just talking about it. So there's gonna be yet another Star Wars video I'll be talking about. But in defense of Star Wars to be more specific here, because it's basically in regards of this one individual here. Yeah, he's into politics and whatnot, religion or whatever. This kind of a thing he wants to speak about. So yeah, the thing is, most specifically, he claims that having the LGBT themed characters is somehow will ruin Star Wars. That sounds like one of the most ridiculous things ever. And in the same article, it mentions that he was also whining about the fact that there might be a black woman starring in a James Bond movie. Like, what are you talking about? That seems awfully specifically mad about. Why can't you have a black woman as the main character in James Bond? What are you talking about? I mean, I don't want to go too much into that specifically, really, because I want to just be more focused on Star Wars. But I get the sense that this individual does not like diversity, is what I'm getting at. Hence why I want to talk about this right here. Like, you mean to tell me that Star Wars has a vast universe, a vast galaxy, whatever? You mean to tell me that there's like hundreds of different aliens, there's different people and whatnot. I know when it comes to different type of aliens, I know they were trying to use that as a reference to different countries, like people from different countries in a way. So as a reference to like interracial dating or interracial relationships, or whatever. Well, people from different countries, or in this case, different aliens, would have their own interpersonal relationship kind of a thing. It's kind of like a metaphor. Even Star Trek did that in some ways. Yeah, Star Trek has done it before. Star Wars did, but you get the idea here. Okay, I don't want to go into this too much either, really, because they were just going forever. This video is gonna be roughly 15 minutes in length anyway, so it's gonna be kind of long to begin with. But the basic idea is that for the good guys, the rebels, resistance, whatever you want to call them, the new republic, the old republic, whatever you want to call them, the good guy side basically wants the good people, I guess, the good guy team. As corny as that sounds, basically just want people from different planets, aka different countries, to basically independent, be dependent, but at the same time be dependent on others as well for resources or whatever. There's some kind of overlap and whatnot as a way to build a stronger bond against the empire, the bad guys and whatnot, the people who are bigots or whatever. It doesn't have to be the empire specifically, but the idea just any villain that's trying to create a ruckus against the galaxy or whatever, or just trying to cause some harm against whomever. I mean, yes, I know what I'm saying is incredibly vague, but you can do that in multiple different ways. Is what I'm trying to get at. You splice that up so many ways that it leaves room to tell the story in multiple ways. That's what I'm saying. It was intentionally kind of vague in some ways because you can do this in various different ways. You can mold this in so many different ways. And the idea is that it doesn't have to be specifically one kind of way. Is what I'm getting at. But yeah, this asshat one here is claiming that like the people who worked on Disney, I guess the guy who directed The Force Awakens and the Rise of Skywalker, if I'm J.J. Abram, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Yeah, the one Jewish director. He's claiming that he's going to destroy Star Wars, what it means to have Star Wars, just by having the LGBT plus community. That's going to completely ruin the franchise and just destroy it little by little. And this, of course, what I'm getting at is the recent Star Wars trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and of course he's going to be one of these condescending assholes say that it's the alphabet soup community just because they're gonna include a trans character. Like when has these movies introduced a trans character? Where is this trans character? The sequel trilogy never introduced a trans character. And even if they did, so what? What's the harm exactly? You mean to tell me there's a vast number of characters and none of them is questioning their gender identity? Like, what are you talking about here, mate? And he claims that the trailer for these movies look completely generic and it kind of looks like the villain piece of the Phantom of the Opera. I mean, what are you talking about? What? I think she referred to Cara Ren or whatever and whatnot. It's like, I mean, okay, what's the harm here? I mean, there's an argument to be had here that Star Wars was more about the characters. I mean, you could always argue that the overall story in The Force Awakens feels a little too familiar, which to some extent it does, I guess. But the counter argument is that the characters themselves were more important in some extent because the characters you could change it enough. You can change the characters enough to make the experience a bit more interesting, even though the plot itself feels a little too familiar. Which in Star Wars Force Awakens it kind of does. If I'm gonna be honest here, but anyway, all that aside, I'm just thinking, what's the problem? What's the harm exactly? What's the issue? I don't understand any of this, like at all. So, and basically, trying to go on the notion that the liberals, the Democrats, they ruined Star Wars forever and ever. I mean, again, what the hell are you talking about exactly? What do you mean they ruined it? They ruined it. I don't understand. What do you mean that happened? I don't get it. I don't get any of this because it makes no sense. Oh no, God forbid they introduce different type of characters. They were already doing that. They were already doing that in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. The previous two trilogies were already doing that. They were already doing that. And now you have an issue with it? Now you have a problem with this kind of a thing? That is so stupid. That is just so stupid. Now you have an issue with this kind of thing. I don't get this. It just seems really dumb when you think about it. And and that's the thing. Even the director of the Star Wars Force Awakens and the director of the Rise of the Skywalker are the same director. I guess it was somebody else directed the Last Jedi, and someone you kind of tell. But that kind of besides the point. But what I'm trying to say is that the director, even he admitted that he wouldn't mind including gay people, lesbians, or whatever. And he's saying that because of the fact that, like I just said a moment ago, there's a vast universe, vast galaxy, or however you word that. You mean to tell me that nobody's like this? Nobody swings a certain way? And yes, he has a point. He has a point in that. But this asshole right here, this dipshit, is claiming that the social justice warriors is going to destroy Star Wars completely, which is a damn lie right there. Because the thing is that you can't support the LGBT plus community and be against the social justice warriors. You can't be against the feminazis and you can't be against the woke culture while supporting the gay rights. It's just like a lot of people can't seem to understand that you could separate those things from this community. It is possible. But Mr. Dumb Shit over here he can't comprehend that because he's too stupid to grab this, to grab hold of this kind of thing. I'm just confused as to why is this a problem to you? Why do you specifically seem to think that diversity is somehow bad? If it's diversity for the sake of diversity, then you may have a point. If there's no more to the character than being gay, if there's no more to the character than being, I don't know, bi, or let's say they have a Chinese character, a Japanese character, a Korean, whatever. If there's no more to the character than whatever country they're from, then you may have a legitimate point. Because tokenism is a bad thing. If having tokenism for its own sake, just for the sake of doing it, is stupid. That's just bad writing. But having diversity itself, that alone is not bad writing. It depends on the execution. It depends on how it's written, on the script, and it depends how it's executed. Is all I'm saying. So again, this individual doesn't really make any sense, like at all. Yeah, it's just he's this type of individual who is this like political commentary individual and whatnot, and he wants to talk about this kinds of stuff, of course. And yes, he talked about politics before and whatnot. And yes, he does have a grudge against Joe Biden, of course, and whatnot, which makes no sense when you think about it, but whatever. You talk about the Republicans and then talk about the how the Democrats are doing this and that or whatever. And I just, and from what I heard, this individual was a former Trump individual who worked with him or something. And just, and recently, from what I heard, he was actually banned from Fox News. And Fox News is terrible anyway. And that's like a lot of whole history behind there, folks. Yeah, he's been around for a hot minute, a good while, which I don't want to go too much into it because there's like a lot to talk about that alone. But yeah, he's supposed to be like a talk show host on some radio network platform, and he wants to do his own thing, do like we call it the reality check kind of a thing. He wants to do his own hot takes, I guess you can say, and just do his own thing. He just wants to do his own thing and whatnot, which doesn't make any sense when you think about it, like at all. It just seems weird that he seems to think that he's on the right path of things, which he clearly isn't, like at all. It just seems like he wants to pick a bone on these films just because Disney owns the rights. That's it. And yes, I've been down this path multiple sweet merciful Jesus. I've been down this path more times I care to, man. I've been talking about this kind of thing way too many times. I've talked about this thing way too many times. I'm getting tired of it, honestly. Because it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over. Just because Disney owns the rights. That's it. That's literally it. If George Lucas was still producing these movies, I'm pretty damn sure they won't be complaining about it. But I mean, they're still. I mean, even if they will, I mean, people will complain about the Star Wars prequel trilogy when he made them, but it will still won't be the same as this. I mean, sure, they can still complain about them. Like how George Lucas himself claimed that a bunch of white slavers, it's like the whole slavery thing, but in reverse with Caucasians or something. Yeah, that's so insensitive. I mean, yes, in history, Caucasians were enslaved at some point, sure, but that's besides the point. It's not here or there. He still comes off, George Lucas himself still comes off like an insensitive bastard, which he is. But my point being, yes, granted, yes, they would still complain about Star Wars, but it would not be the same as this. It would not be the same as this. And yes, they did complain about George Lucas before. Yes, they complained about the Star Wars films before. Yes, they absolutely did. But for different reasons is what I'm getting at. For different reasons. So you can always say that people are going to be complaining anyway, regardless. Sure, that's true. The people will be complaining anyway. I mean, yes, the prequel trilogy was awful. The prequel trilogy is still some of the worst films I've ever seen. And I've still seen a lot of bad movies, and I still believe that's still some of the worst. Anyway, again, that's kind of besides the point of what I'm getting at. One way or another, in some shape or form or another, they're going to be complaining. In one way or another, they're going to be just bitching and just about nonsense or something. I mean, people will nitpick everything. That's the thing, though. All right, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Something stupid. I guess that'll be it, folks. I do appreciate people who are watching this video. Like I was saying, this was kind of long. I guess this was kind of long here, folks. But anyway, that'll be it. Yeah, that'll be it. Whatever. Just talking about something stupid again. So that'll be it. Thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, I guess. Whatever.